Hello everyone, so this is now Friday of the first week of my HYROX prep. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you today about how I am building the programme to smash this HYROX in 19 weeks time. So stick around and we're going to go into the programme building, but first I'm off for a wee run.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong.
Happy days, so that's the run done. Happy with that session today, that was nice. I've programmed 4x400 at 4:30 per kilometre pace. Felt far too easy. First three intervals were fairly comfortable, about the 4:10 to 4:15. So I thought I'd push it a little bit, and the last one was a 3:48 per kilometre pace, and still felt comfortable. So that's good news. It means that I've got some speed in my legs, which I didn't know I still had. Happy days. But moving on how I am programming for this HYROX. When you're programming for any sort of event, it is important that first thing you do is you have to get a timeline. You need to know when you're starting your training and when the event is. So that is the first protocol. So that's what I've done. I've created a calendar that goes from last week to the 28th of September, which is the day that I'm competing in the HYROX. Now, once you've got that initial timeline, you need to split that into blocks. So we have larger blocks called macrocycles, which is going to be your overarching, very generic, this is what I'm doing in this block of period, which are longer blocks. Then you split them down a little bit further into what we call a mesocycle. Mesocycles are shorter blocks of training within the macros. Now, the way I've split these up, I've split these into three simple kind of mesocycles where I've got a strength-based one, which I'm working on now, then I'll have a power-based, and then a specific is my third mesocycle. Now, within those mesocycles, we split them down further into microcycles, which is basically my week-to-week training. So I know what I'm going to do overarching, then I know how I'm going to break that big block of training into smaller, so strength. So now I know I've got 7 weeks more of strength training. So this is my first mesocycle. Now, every week, obviously split Monday to Sunday, and I program my weights, my running, my conditioning through that week. Now, how you balance that's really important. Now, this is week number 1 of the training. So what I'm doing is, I've programmed it, I put in weights, I put in speeds I want to run at, I put loads I want to lift, yes, that kind of thing, distances I want to run. But I'm going from a really disjointed training kind of past for the last, year or so really, to a full-on training program 6 days a week. So it's really important that this week I kind of monitor and adjust as I go along. I've got to take into account things like how I'm feeling, like I'm tired, my body, head, mind. It's a lot to go from nothing to upping it up. I also need to take into account my tendon, my joint health, because it's a lot of load into all the ligaments, the connective tissue around all my joints, especially in my knees. And again, I am coming off the back of a wee injury, wee niggle. So that's really important that I monitor that. So as I'm going through each session each day, I am adjusting things and I'm making notes of how things feel. So I can then adjust next week's training. Now, in terms of writing the program, I've got a kind of broad idea for the next 8 weeks of what I'm doing, 7 weeks now, what I'm doing strength-wise in my sessions, but they will be adjusted week to week, day to day, because for instance, I put in loads for like my squats, my front squats, things like that, deadlifts, but they were based off, fresh, feeling good, not based off training back-to-back sessions, all the extra running I'm doing. I think it's 19 kilometres of running I've done this week, which is a big jump up from the odd, 500 metres up and down the road. So I had to bring all my loads down for my squats, my deadlifts and everything like that, just because my body was tired and I would have just done myself an injury. So really important when you're doing a program, you want to make sure that, you're optimizing stimulus, but that means that you have to put loads, paces up and down as you go through there. You want to stop any injuries, again, and that is why you monitor and adjust. And you want to make sure you're peaking. So I'm going to be continually building to peak for, 19 weeks time now. So in terms of this week, what have I done? So I started with running. That was my first session of the week, a nice long run, zone 2, and that's going to be the backbone of this training. One of the most important things for HYROX is running. It's the largest portion of the event. So all the other exercises, the ski, the sled, they're kind of second, they play second fiddle to it because you're not going to be on them for long. So you don't need a massive engine on them. It's the running that takes up all the time. You know, when it's 8 kilometers of running, so even a good runner, that's still 32 minutes of work. So that's what I need to concentrate on. And it was my weak point because I've not been running. So I'm doing zone 2 every week, one long run a week. Then I'm making sure I have a run interval session at the minute, and I'm trying to make that a kind of heavy session because I am concentrating on the strength side of things for this block. And then throughout the week with my conditioning, there's little runs dotted in, so short runs, say 500 meters or so. Like for instance, this week and one of my conditioning pieces, I had 500 meter runs, but they were preceded by 20 devil's presses with 220 kilo dumbbells. So that meant I was massively fatigued, legs were tired, back was tired, everything was tired before I went out to run. So I'm running under fatigue. So I was just trying to keep that heavy leg feeling to kind of keep going with the strength as much as you can with running. I mean, you can't really make it a strength session if you like, but it's the closest I could do. So that is what I'm concentrating on. So week by week, I will be adjusting. So if we have a little look at the strength work I did this week, one of the sessions, as we can have a look at it now. If we look at me with my back squats first of all. So the back squats I did, now the weight on these is light. It was 80 kilos, which is a long way off my PB, and as a percentage, it's close to 50%, 60% of my 1 rep max. But my legs weren't used to squatting because I've not squatted a lot recently. And I had done 18 kilometers of running the day before. 14 kilometers, sorry. I'd done 14 kilometers of running the day before. So I was tired. So it would have been stupid to up the weights. And that's something I need to consider. So the squats were good. I concentrate on depth, range of motion, keeping everything tight, nice tempo, didn't rush them, kept them smooth. Next exercise we had was deadlifts. Now deadlifts again, I reduced the weight on these massively. My deadlift's quite strong, it's up to about 200 kilos at the minute. But again, this is a really light deadlift, I think it's 120 kilos. So light, but again, just concentrating on the pattern, making sure that my body is coping with the stimulus, but not fatiguing myself too much, knowing that I had a long run yesterday and I've got 4 more sessions to go in the week and I don't want to compromise those sessions. So then I had push press. So I'm using the push press just as strength for my upper body, a little bit of leg drive. Again, it's technically a power exercise, but I'm going to use heavy loads on it, so I can't particularly go fast with it. I would be going lighter if I was wanting to technically generate power with this. So it is a strength exercise. And then I finished off with a couple of accessory exercises like dips and weighted pull-ups, not particularly heavy on the weight. I've also got Romanian deadlifts in. Now, something I really noticed when I did my simulation was how weak and how tired my hamstrings got. So that's why these Romanian deadlifts are in here. There's also reverse lunges on the next strength day, again, to hit my hamstrings and glutes as much as possible. Now, I've got 2 running sessions a week, as I mentioned, 2 strength sessions a week, and 2 conditioning pieces a week. The conditioning pieces are heavy at the minute, so I'm trying to make them heavy to stay with the kind of strength element of stuff. So trying to do heavy kind of bodyweight exercises or heavy dumbbell exercises in between erg work, because I don't particularly need to be doing HYROX specific like erg work, like ski and row, that kind of thing, because it's too early in the prep. I'm not going to get specific to the last kind of 4 weeks of the program. There's no point. So first point is to get strong. Second point is to get powerful. Third point is to maintain or increase my endurance through that process as well. So it is kind of a concurrent training program. Not in the strictest sense of the word, like concurrent training. It's not a pure hybrid, because I'm not trying to be maximally strong. I'm not working, I know I'm not going for power lift. I don't want to be squatting 200 kilos and deadlifting 250. I don't need to, I just need to be strong. So I'm not going maximally crazy on my strength, but I do need to be powerful because I need a power output. Now, that is the next training block, and we'll talk about that more later. But strength is what we're working on right now. Now, if you want to see the specifics of how I'm training, I put lots of stuff on Instagram. So follow my Instagram at Roderick4MG Fitness, and there's posts there, stories, then you'll see what I'm doing so you can get a better insight to the training, see how I'm getting on, follow me more daily than these weekly videos. But yeah, that is it for today. So just a short one, a quick insight into the building blocks of the training program. Next week, we'll give you an update on how the training's going, how I'm feeling when I've settled into the training a bit more, and we'll go into a little bit more depth on the structure of the program itself. Okay, keep watching, big love, join in the journey, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that little bell so you get notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Big love.